Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another video. Yes, I'm in another hoodie because I live in England and the weather is shocking outside, so it's really cold and our heating don't come on until 6 p.m. tonight, so I'm a little bit cold. I'm just introducing this video today. To be honest, I don't really know what it's going to be like. Obviously by the title of the video you will get whatever is in the video. I do know tomorrow I'm going out to meet with my mum and sister, so we're going to go around Nottingham, have a girly day or girly afternoon shopping and have a look around some shops, and also go out for some lunch as well, which will be really nice. So I'm going to take you along with me and show you sort of what I get up to. I also wanted to make this video and chat a little bit about intuitive eating. I have probably mentioned in previous videos I have had numerous eating disorders in the past. I can proudly say that I'm fully recovered. I may do a separate video on that if anyone's interested. Leave a comment down below. I wanted to talk a little bit more about intuitive eating in a little bit more detail because it's something that's absolutely changed my life really. From the person that I used to be when I was very young, I had no idea that you could eat what you wanted and what your body wanted and listening to your own hunger cues. I had no idea. From a young age at school I would be trying to control and manipulate my food. That developed into other eating disorders, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and explain what it is and how it's helped me heal my relationship with food. So if you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you have probably heard of intuitive eating or mindful eating. What it is basically, there is a book. I don't have it with me right now. I think I lent it my sister, but I do have the book somewhere. And it's written by two women. I know one of their names, Evelyn Tribole. It's not how you say that, I know it's not, but there you go. I'm following her on Instagram. Evelyn, hats off to you, sister. I love you. She wrote that book a few years back, and basically it's everything but a diet basically. So you'll know if you've followed a diet before, you are given either a set of numbers, a set of rules that you have to follow. You know, you can only eat this much, or you can only eat these certain foods, can't eat after this time, or you can only eat between this window. Whereas intuitive eating is basically flipping it on its head basically. Diets manipulate our hunger cues, so we're not in touch with our own hunger cues, and obviously we're trying to follow somebody else's random rules. However, our bodies don't do that. Our bodies do their own thing, and I think the problem with the diet industry is they tell us obviously that we can't trust our own bodies and we can't trust ourselves, so we need an external set of rules. Whereas intuitive eating is basically tuning into your own body's hunger cues. When you were a young child or a baby, you had no idea what a diet was. You would literally rely on your own hunger cues. You told your mum or your dad or your caregiver when you were hungry and when you'd had enough food basically, or you cried when you were hungry and you obviously got food. You stopped once you were satisfied. That's the problem diets can cause, because obviously when we feel restricted with certain foods we don't always know when to stop and where, because we're following a set of rules. We associate behaviour and our worth with how well we've eaten that day. You know, if we've stuck to our plan, then we feel really good about ourselves, and then if we don't, or heaven forbid we eat off plan, and our body's actually telling us I'm hungry or this isn't satisfying me. So your bodies know exactly what they're doing. Your bodies will always tell you what it needs, and our problem I think is that we don't allow ourselves to trust the process, and we don't allow ourselves to trust our own bodies, which, like I said before, I'd been on numerous diets when I was younger. I can't even tell you what age I was when I first went on my first ever diet. I remember being in school and only eating fruit for my lunch, whereas all my other friends were having like sandwiches and pasta and things like that. I've forgotten my point. If you've been on a diet before, you know that there's a certain point where you reach on your diet where your hunger levels are that high, whether you've been on a really restrictive diet, putting out a lot of food groups, all you can think about is food, thinking, oh god, I wish I could have that. I remember having fantasies thinking, oh, if I could eat anything, I would eat this, this and this, and that's what I'd be thinking about. Food focused thoughts that we have when we are on a diet are completely normal when we are being very restrictive. It's your body's own natural instinct. So your body doesn't realise that you're on a diet because you want to look good in a bikini or you want to lose weight for your holiday. Your body's actually thinking, shit, she's actually like starving to death. We need to amp up these hunger cues and get her to find food. So if you've been in this situation, you will totally know where I'm coming from. So you're probably sticking to your plan, and then all of a sudden you have a day where you just absolutely blow out and you eat a large amount of food in a short period of time usually, and afterwards you're left with this horrible feeling of guilt, shame. You obviously feel really bad about what you've done. You think, I'm such a failure. You know, I've stuck to my plan and now why have I done this? And you associate that feeling with lack of willpower, you being a failure and thinking that you're a bad person. So we sort of internalise that circumstance and make it about us and make it about our own self-worth. And this is why I think diets can be quite damaging, because hunger and food is a natural part of life. We can't live without food. So it's very sort of irrational to think that we can force our bodies to go without it, because sooner or later your body is going to fight back, and that is a normal thing for it to do. So what intuitive eating does, like I said, and it goes back to basics basically, like as you were when you were a child, you trusted nothing but your own body's cues. It told you when it was hungry, it told you once it had had enough. I've found when I've practiced intuitive eating, you go through a few stages. I'm not gonna lie, if you've been somebody that's dieted majority of your life, you've obviously had a lot of restrictions over food. You've told yourself or made up certain rules about certain foods that you can and can't have, or certain foods that you just can't control yourself around. So one of the first sort of steps, I'm not going to go through all of the steps in the book just because one, I can't really remember what they are, and two, I've not read it in a while and it's not something that I'm currently following. However, I just want to show my own personal feedback on it, and if you are somebody that's maybe struggling at the moment, maybe you'd consider trying intuitive eating. But I was always very fascinated that I had a few friends, or most of my friends were quote unquote normal eaters. I would class myself back then to be not normal. I had very, irregular eating patterns, and it wasn't, intuitive at all. I was always sort of fighting against beliefs and rules in my head, and obviously my body was trying to fight back. But I had a lot of my friends all ate what they wanted. They would drink full fat Coke and full fat milk and things like that, whereas I was somebody that I will always have Diet Coke. Like, I just cannot have full fat Coke. To me, that just goes against everything I believe in, but that's another story. But all my friends would eat normally, they would eat all of these things that I restricted, and yet they kept or maintained a natural lean body shape. They weren't overweight in the slightest. They didn't exercise like crazy like I did. They were just normal. So from a young age, I was always like, how do they do it? I often thought it must just be me. Like, I've got to control what I eat, because if I don't, then I'll gain loads of weight. It goes back to the diet industry tells us that we can't trust ourselves. I definitely think some people develop unhealthy habits around food, which may cause them to gain weight. So, such as emotional eating when you're bored, or turning to food for comfort. Maybe it's just a habit that you have, you know, that you snack in between meals when actually you're probably not even that hungry. And I'm not necessarily saying that emotional eating is bad, because everybody does it to an extent. And some people, you know, at certain times you may eat slightly more than what your body needs. But I think the issue is when we do it that much that it's almost unconscious, and that's then when we start to gain weight, and then we think, oh my god, I've gained loads of weight. So then we obviously resort to a diet because we need a set of rules, because we think we can't control ourselves, when actually the problem or the issue is probably that if we just looked at our eating habits and think, okay, well, why do I snack in between meals? Why do I always, you know, feel that I need to clear my plate when I'm not actually that hungry? I'm getting out of breath. I've had a coffee as well, and normally I only have one coffee a day. I had a coffee before this video to kind of hype myself up. I'm not joking, I feel like I'm having palpitations. My pulse is going crazy. So intuitive eating, like I said, goes back to basics. So it basically turns everything internal. What is your body wanting? There's a difference between what your mind wants and what your body wants. Usually your mind will want more. If you have a slice of cake, you think, oh, I want another, when actually you might physically feel quite satisfied. So it's asking your body, you know, how hungry are you before a meal? Are you actually hungry for the meal? Because again, we could eat out of habit. Maybe it's 5-6 o'clock and you normally have food with your family or whatever, which again, I totally get it, like it's a social thing as well. But if we're eating majority of the time when we're not actually hungry, when our body's not actually asking for it, there's no wonder that we gain weight, because our body's not asking for it, so our bodies aren't using that food. So I think it's quite a really good way of, first of all, getting back to your own hunger cues and understanding what it feels like to be hungry. Because I think when you've been on a diet for so long, you massively lose touch of your own hunger cues. For ages, I didn't actually know what hunger felt like real hunger. I was always quite fearful of hunger. So, because, I don't know, it just completely messes up with your hunger cues, because you're always thinking about, you know, what I can eat or how much I can eat, rather than actually, okay, has my body had enough? So it teaches you to get back in touch with your own hunger cues and get you to feel what hunger feels like and be okay with it, because it's not a scary feeling. It doesn't mean you're going to go out of control, but I think releasing that diet mentality is also one of the other steps and key steps in order to become more in tune with your body. So obviously if you're on a diet, you have to follow a set of rules or only eat certain foods, whereas intuitive eating, there are no rules, so you can eat technically whatever you like. And I think this is the scary part for a lot of dieters. I know when I've first ever started intuitive eating, I was terrified, because I was like, oh my god, I'm just going to want chocolate every single minute of the day, I'm just going to have cookies and things like that. And yeah, technically you could allow yourself to do that, and I definitely did. I went through a process of just having food like that. But you start to realise, actually, this doesn't feel that good. I feel like sluggish, I feel groggy, you know, your stomach might not feel that great. So again, it's turning it back internally and asking, does your body like that? Does it feel good when you eat that? And I've noticed certain things about myself that I don't feel good eating. Like for me, I don't eat meat, like red meat, and that's not because, you know, I think it's fattening or anything like that. I just know that my body doesn't process and digest red meat very well. And over the years, and obviously doing some research on it, I do think it's better for the environment. However, I do eat a lot of chicken and fish. That's just what I like to do. I get my protein from there. I feel good when I have it. It doesn't upset my stomach or anything like that. It don't do me very well, like full fat milk. It doesn't process very well in my body, but that's something that I've had to learn. Whereas when I was was dieting, I'd think full fat milk would be such an indulgent thing.
And I'd be like, oh my god, I'd love to have whole milk all over my cereal. Whereas now I'm like, I really couldn't care less.
I think this is the problem with diets, because they distort your view on food, because you see it as like, you know, it's forbidden, so you act like it's going away, which it basically is, because you're setting rules against yourself. And like I said, I've gone through processes of this myself where I had to practice it a little bit and notice the food that I found myself wanting to overeat more on, and kind of question myself, okay, well, why do I want to overeat on those things? Is it because it's quite an addictive type food? Is it quite high in sugar and things like that? And sometimes, most of the time, they were. But if I told myself, you can have this again tomorrow, or you can have it later on when you're hungry, it kind of calmed down that sort of antsy feeling of like wanting to devour it all in one go, because I know that I could have it whenever I wanted. So it really kind of calms down the sort of anxious feelings that you have around food. I think intuitive eating is such a good philosophy, and it's silly to say that it's a philosophy, because it's basically, you know, we're humans. Nobody invented a diet, that's what we would be doing. But I think because we've messed around so much with food and things like that, and we're always trying to look like somebody else, and we're not accepting of what we are and how our bodies are made. And do you know what? Speaking of all of this about learning what's good for your body, I've realised, and I've made this mistake before, that having 2 coffees a day actually makes me quite bloated, and I've got a pain in my stomach now and it's starting to feel quite bloated. So lesson learned, don't have 2 coffees a day. I need to remember that. But so yeah, basically in conclusion, you are listening to your own hunger cues, and you've disregarded all the food rules that you have. So identifying, okay, well, what rules do I have about certain foods? For me, it was peanut butter, massive fear food for me. I would avoid it like the plague, and if I ever seen it, I'd tell myself I can't control myself around it, you know, I'll just eat it all. And again, that is a thought that you've created. So you, with that thought process that you've created yourself, you create that feeling of feeling out of control around certain foods, in which case you act like you're out of control with those certain foods. So it backs up your own belief that you're out of control. So I think just learning to practice being with certain foods and trying new foods, going out to eat where, you know, you're not necessarily in control of what you're eating, that massively helped me, because I'm quite social and I love like going out to eat with my friends and things like that. That was something I always miss when I was dieting, and, you know, panic, because I'd be like, I need to know how many calories I'm eating. But yeah, all I want was to be able to go out to eat with my friends. So I'd either make up an excuse, or when I went out I'd feel really bad. And again, I was like living in my head rather than being there with my friends. So intuitive eating has massively helped me in terms of my social life. It's allowed me to be able to cook food with my boyfriend, go out to eat with friends. Actually, it's helped me to massively trust myself again, because like I said before, diets tell us that we cannot be trusted around food, and the fact is we can, because we've done it when we was younger, we've done it all our lives. The problem is, not necessarily the problems, but the problems which may be causing us to gain weight involuntarily is when we eat out of habit. My camera is flashing red at the moment, but I'm going to end this little spiel here. But I hope you enjoyed listening to that little rant. I don't really know what it was about. I didn't plan anything, so I hope maybe you found it useful. Yeah, if you want to see more food, more little rants and things like that, keep watching this video. I'll take you with me tomorrow. I go out for my little girly date with my mum and my sister, so I'll show you what I do. But thank you again, guys, for watching my video. Thank you again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next clip. Bye! Good morning, YouTube. I'm gonna just apologise right now for the state of me right now. I've just woken up and I've just had a coffee, that's literally it. So hence why I look like this. So it is Thursday morning today. I initially planned to go to the gym this morning. I start work at 11, so I would have had to set off around 10:30 this morning. So I thought, right, I'll go to the gym earlier in the morning. However, I've woken up, and if you've not watched some of my other videos, I would have told you, or you would already know, that I am following one of Stephanie Buttermore's training programs. So in those programs there's 3 lower days, I believe. 4. Well, there might be 4. 2 upper. I've not been doing them all. I don't train 6 days because, to be honest, I don't always have the time, and I don't always want to train 6 days. I don't want to live in a gym, so I usually go around 4 or 5 times a week. Yesterday I went really heavy on squats, so my legs this morning are feeling so like jelly. Like, I felt like I couldn't wake up at first. I felt like I couldn't even move. So I'm gonna go to the gym later on tonight. I've booked also for a yoga class tonight, so I'm gonna train probably tonight. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm gonna train the second leg day that I planned, but I'll just see how I feel. If not, then I might do an upper day. So I'm just going to have a chill morning. So I've literally just had a coffee. I'm going to have breakfast very soon. I'm just watching some YouTube, some Gemma Miles at the moment. So I'm just going to chill out for a little bit, and then I will show you what I have for breakfast. My face looks a little bit oily, but it's because I actually have some moisturiser on. So it is 20 to 9, and I hate how quick the time goes when I'm having a morning off, because it just flies by, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to go to work soon. I'm about to have breakfast, so I'm going to show you what I'm having. I made it last night. I'm obsessed at the moment with overnight oats. This is my bowl of overnight oats. So what I did was put some yogurt in there, some oats, a sprinkle of this protein powder from My Protein. So it is the chocolate brownie flavour. Normally I'm not a fan of chocolate flavoured proteins. Normally just go for vanilla, but this one is really good. It does actually taste like chocolate brownie. So have that, mix it all in, add some water or some soy milk, and then I put some frozen fruit on top. Okay guys, so I'm ready for work. So I'm just about to leave for work now. I'm wearing a jumper, turtleneck jumper, which I seem to wear all the time just because it's so warm and comfortable, and some cigarette checkered trousers these were from Zara actually. Also very comfortable, because obviously I'm going straight to Nottingham after work to go shopping with my mum and dad's with my mum and sister, so I want to be a little bit comfortable. So yes, I will show you what I do in Nottingham and what I eat and what we get up to and that sort of thing. So I'll see you in the next clip. Bye. Okay guys, so I've just finished work. The weather is gross right now. This is typical English weather if you are not from the UK. So it's started raining now, so I'm just about to head into Nottingham to meet my mum and sister. I'm still used to this like public vlogging thing. I don't know why, I just get nervous when people are like watching. I need to get over that fear. But yeah, I'm absolutely starving. Also, I've not had anything to eat apart from that overnight oats that I showed you this morning, so I'm so hungry right now. So I'm going to show you what I have. Hopefully this weather stops very soon, but I will see you in the next clip. Okay guys, so I've just parked up. I'm just walking into town now. I'm going to have to get some food because I'm literally starving. But the weather stopped raining a little bit, but it's still raining right now, so hopefully it will stop. Okay guys, so we are in a cute little coffee shop at the moment. I'm with my mum and sister. Say hello. At the moment they're struggling to decide what hot chocolate to have, so I've ordered some breakfast, well brunch, so eggs. So I'm just waiting on that right now, and then just deciding what hot chocolate to go for, but the menu is incredible. eating now. We've just had lunch and we've just been walking around town for a little bit. Jude's been crying, so we've tried to occupy him as best we can by going in the Disney store. Not that I'm complaining about that. Weather has been quite crap, so we're just trying to keep dry at the minute. So we're in the main shopping centre in Nottingham. Showing Jude the fountain. Now this has been here since I was a little kid, when I was like 5. Hi again guys, I know you can literally probably not see me at all right now. I'm sat in my car. Just a quick update, obviously I'm back now from Nottingham. Wow, this lighting is horrendous. I'm just heading to the gym now. I'm gonna do a quick workout. It is 7:20 at night time. I'm gonna just do a quick bit of cardio, I think, so I'll check in with you in a bit. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing a bit of an outro now. I'm back home from the gym, so that would have been the last clip you'd have seen me. So I decided to go to the gym. I'm not gonna lie, I did not feel in the mood. I wasn't in particularly great mood when I got back, and I think sometimes you're not aware of what thoughts you're sort of thinking in the day that can really affect your mood. But yeah, I wasn't feeling particularly great when I got home. I don't know why. I think my mind was just kind of racing a little bit, and I decided to go to the gym anyway and not do any weights. Normally I would do weights, but I decided to do cardio, and I find cardio really does clear my head sometimes, and I'm actually so glad that I went. So it's examples like that. Sometimes you need some self-discipline as an act of self-love, because if I'd have not gone, I definitely wouldn't have felt great in myself. Glad that I went anyway, but I had to listen to my body at the same time and not push myself to do something that didn't particularly feel great. So it felt good to push myself in a sense that it wasn't, you know, making me feel more fatigued and that sort of thing. That was a really nice day out that me and my sister and my mum had. It was nice to catch up with them. In the food that I had there, I had a vegan waffle with halloumi and hummus, which was literally amazing. It was so good. And it's those kind of situations that back then, when I was sort of in the midst of my eating disorder, those kind of situations gave me so much anxiety. Like, I would worry myself to death, like, how am I going to avoid eating out, or I'm going to binge, or, you know, that sort of thing. And now it's not about the food. It's like the food comes with it. It's like, oh yeah, it's good to go out for food, but that's not all what I'm thinking about, if that makes sense. So it's more freeing. Like, this is a typical day in the life of intuitive eating, just listening to your own hunger cues, basically. I had that, and then on the way back home from Nottingham I had a protein bar, and I've not had anything since, so I may have something to eat later on. It is getting quite late though, so I don't always like eating too late. I'm getting a little bit hungry, so I'm gonna see. I'll show you, if my camera decides to work, what I have. If you've enjoyed this vlog anyway, I know it's kind of been a little bit random, maybe it's shed some insights. It's so good to be able to not live with food rules anymore. I can't even tell you how freeing it is to be able to just go out to eat and not worry about how many calories I'm consuming that day or how many steps I've got left to do. It feels good to be able to eat things that I want to eat and go to the gym because I want to go to the gym, not because I have to go to the gym. So this has taken a lot of time to get to, I'm not going to lie, but now that I feel like I'm here, like, there's still progress to be made, definitely, but I feel like, you know, I've made a lot of progress with that. So anyway, I'm going to shut up rambling, but I'm basically just going to chill out now and watch some YouTube. Then I may eat something later on. If I do, I will show you what I have. By the way, ignore the state of me right now. My hair has been in the rain and I'm a sweaty mess from the gym. I really hope that you've enjoyed this vlog, guys. If you do, please comment down below. I really appreciate it. Any comments that I get, I really appreciate. And if you like these videos, please like these videos. Subscribe to my channel as well. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I will see you in the next video.